The ocean rarely announces what comes next. Most of the time, history arrives quietly, not with explosions, not with headlines, not with dramatic speeches from world leaders. It arrives in the darkness before dawn, when massive warships alter course hundreds of miles from shore, when aircraft carriers disappear beneath layers of operational security, when supply ships begin moving at unusual tempos, when military planners stop talking and start preparing. And right now, across vast stretches of the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Mediterranean, and the Middle East, the United States Navy appears to be entering one of those moments. Something is changing. Not dramatically enough for most people to notice, but significantly enough that military analysts around the world are paying attention. Because the movements of the world's most powerful navy are often less about what is happening today and more about what leaders believe could happen tomorrow. For decades, American naval power has been the backbone of global military influence. 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, hundreds of warships, thousands of aircraft, tens of thousands of sailors deployed across every major ocean on Earth. No nation has ever assembled a maritime force on this scale. And yet, despite that overwhelming power, recent years have revealed a reality that strategic planners can no longer ignore. The world is becoming more dangerous. Competition between major powers is accelerating. Regional conflicts are multiplying. Advanced missiles are spreading. Drone warfare is transforming battlefields. Artificial intelligence is reshaping military decision-making. And the oceans, once considered secure highways of global commerce, are increasingly becoming contested spaces. From the South China Sea to the Red Sea, from the Taiwan Strait to the Arctic, from critical shipping lanes to strategic choke points, pressure is building, slowly, relentlessly. And when pressure builds in geopolitics, navies become the first instruments of preparation, because unlike armies, which can take months to deploy, or air forces, which require access to foreign bases, naval forces bring their own airfields, logistics hubs, missile batteries, command centers, and strike capabilities wherever they go. A carrier strike group is not simply a collection of ships. It is a floating military ecosystem, a sovereign projection of national power. And lately, those ecosystems have been moving. Satellite imagery has revealed increased activity at key naval facilities, maintenance schedules are accelerating, shipyards are working around the clock. New weapon systems are appearing aboard frontline vessels, training exercises are becoming larger, more complex, and more realistic. Individually, none of these developments seem extraordinary. Together, they tell a story of preparation, a story of adaptation, a story that suggests military planners are looking beyond today's crises and preparing for challenges that could define the next decade. Imagine standing on the deck of a destroyer somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. The horizon stretches endlessly in every direction. No cities, no borders, no visible enemies, only water. Yet beneath that calm surface exists one of the most strategically important regions on Earth. Thousands of miles away, command centers monitor satellite feeds, radar networks, intelligence reports, cyber activity, and shipping patterns. Every movement matters, every signal is analyzed, every deployment sends a message. Because modern naval strategy is no longer just about ships firing weapons. It is about information, detection, deterrence, positioning. The side that understands the battlefield first often gains an advantage before the first shot is ever fired, and today's battlefield stretches across entire oceans. The challenge facing military planners is unlike anything seen during the Cold War. Back then, the threat environment was comparatively predictable. Two superpowers, defined alliances, known capabilities. Today, uncertainty dominates. Hypersonic missiles can travel at extraordinary speeds. Long-range anti-ship weapons can threaten vessels from hundreds or even thousands of miles away. Unmanned systems operate above, on, and below the water. Cyber warfare unfolds continuously. Space-based assets have become indispensable. The result is a strategic environment where dominance can no longer be assumed. It must be earned every day. That reality is driving one of the most significant transformations in naval warfare in modern history. The Navy is investing heavily in distributed operations. Instead of concentrating power in a few locations, forces are being spread across wider areas. Instead of relying exclusively on traditional platforms, commanders are integrating drones, autonomous vessels, advanced sensors, and networked weapons. The goal is simple: become harder to target, faster to respond, more resilient under pressure, because future conflicts, if they occur, may unfold at speeds that leave little room for hesitation. Minutes could matter, seconds could matter. Information superiority could matter even more. And that is why the quiet movements happening today deserve attention. Not because war is inevitable, not because conflict is guaranteed, but because preparation remains one of the most important responsibilities of any military organization. History repeatedly shows that nations rarely get to choose when crises emerge. They only choose whether they are ready. As geopolitical competition intensifies, as technology advances, and as strategic rivalries continue to evolve, the United States Navy appears focused on one central objective: ensuring that if a major challenge emerges tomorrow, it will not be starting preparations tomorrow. It will have already begun, and perhaps that is the most important signal of all. The biggest military developments are often not the ones announced in press conferences. They are the ones unfolding quietly, beyond the horizon, where preparation takes place long before history makes its arrival. If current trends continue, the coming years may witness a naval transformation unlike anything seen in generations. More autonomous systems, more advanced missile defenses, greater integration with allies, expanded operations across critical maritime regions, and a renewed focus on deterring conflict before conflict begins. Whether these preparations ultimately prevent future crises or become part of a larger geopolitical competition remains impossible to know. But one thing is certain: across the world's oceans, powerful forces are already in motion. The ships are sailing, the crews are training, the technology is evolving, and somewhere beyond the horizon, military planners are preparing for possibilities most people never see. Because in the world of naval strategy, the future rarely arrives without warning. The warning is the preparation itself. Yet the most revealing part of this story is not what can be seen, it is what cannot. The average observer sees a warship and sees steel. Military planners see logistics, fuel reserves, missile inventories, maintenance cycles, crew readiness, command networks, intelligence capabilities, and perhaps most importantly, endurance. Because modern warfare is not won by who fires first. It is often won by who can sustain operations the longest. That is why one of the most overlooked elements of American naval power is not the aircraft carrier. It is the vast support network operating behind it. Thousands of sailors work aboard replenishment ships that rarely appear in headlines. These vessels carry fuel, ammunition, spare parts, food, and equipment across enormous distances. Without them, even the most powerful fleet would eventually grind to a halt. A carrier strike group can project immense power, but only if the logistics chain remains intact. And that reality is shaping military thinking around the world. Potential adversaries understand that directly confronting American naval forces would be extraordinarily difficult. Instead, military strategists increasingly focus on disrupting communications, targeting supply routes, overwhelming defenses with drones, or attacking critical support systems. The battlefield is expanding. What was once considered the rear area may no longer be safe. Every ship, every network, every satellite, every supply route could become part of the fight. That is forcing the Navy to rethink assumptions that guided decades of operations. Imagine a future crisis unfolding somewhere in the Indo-Pacific. Not a massive global war, not a Hollywood-style scenario, just a rapidly escalating confrontation involving competing military forces operating in close proximity. Within hours, commanders would face a flood of information: satellite imagery, electronic signals, drone reconnaissance, cyber reports, submarine tracking data, commercial shipping movements, weather forecasts, social media activity. The amount of information would be staggering. The challenge would not be collecting data. The challenge would be understanding it faster than everyone else. This is where artificial intelligence is beginning to change the equation. Military organizations across the globe are investing heavily in systems capable of analyzing enormous volumes of information in real time, identifying threats, predicting movements, highlighting anomalies, assisting commanders under pressure. The side that processes information fastest may gain decisive advantages long before missiles enter the equation. And nowhere is that more important than at sea, because the ocean is vast. Targets are mobile. Conditions change constantly. A single decision made minutes too late can alter the entire course of an operation. That is why the Navy's modernization efforts extend far beyond ships and aircraft. They include software, networks, data systems, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, space-based communications, and advanced sensors capable of detecting threats at unprecedented distances. The future fleet will not simply be larger, it will be smarter, more connected, more adaptable, and potentially more lethal. At the same time, another revolution is quietly unfolding beneath the waves. Submarines remain among the most powerful and mysterious weapons ever created. Unlike aircraft carriers, they are rarely photographed. Unlike fighter jets, they do not appear in dramatic air shows. Most of the time, they operate in silence. Invisible, unpredictable, deadly. A modern attack submarine can monitor vast areas of ocean without revealing its presence. It can gather intelligence, track enemy vessels, protect strategic assets, or, if necessary, launch devastating strikes. For military planners, submarines represent both opportunity and uncertainty. The simple possibility that one might be nearby can influence strategic decisions. And as underwater technologies continue to evolve, competition beneath the surface is becoming increasingly important. Autonomous underwater vehicles, advanced sonar systems, new detection technologies, all are contributing to a rapidly changing undersea environment. The oceans may appear empty. In reality, they are becoming more crowded with sensors, drones, and hidden capabilities than ever before. Meanwhile, alliances are taking on renewed importance. No modern military operates entirely alone. Partnerships amplify power, share intelligence, expand operational reach, and create strategic depth. Across Europe, Asia, and other regions, joint exercises have become increasingly sophisticated. Warships from different nations train together, pilots fly together, commanders coordinate operations, communication systems are integrated. The objective is clear. If a crisis emerges, cooperation should already exist, not be invented in the middle of an emergency. This multinational approach reflects a recognition that many security challenges extend beyond national borders. Shipping routes connect continents. Energy supplies cross oceans. Digital infrastructure spans the globe. Instability in one region can produce consequences thousands of miles away. And because of that interconnected reality, naval forces often serve as the first responders to geopolitical uncertainty. They arrive quickly, remain flexible, and provide decision makers with options. That flexibility may explain why so much attention remains focused on maritime power. In an unpredictable world, options matter. The ability to respond matters. The ability to deter matters even more. Deterrence is often misunderstood. Many assume it is about threatening conflict. In reality, successful deterrence is about preventing conflict, creating enough uncertainty that potential adversaries decide the risks outweigh the rewards, demonstrating readiness, capability, resolve, without ever firing a shot. When deterrence works, nothing happens, and that is precisely why its success often goes unnoticed. Yet history suggests some of the most important military achievements occur when conflict never begins. The challenge is maintaining credibility. Potential rivals constantly evaluate capabilities, training standards, technological advances, political will, economic resilience. Every signal contributes to their calculations, which brings us back to the quiet preparations unfolding today, because preparation itself sends a message that military planners intend to remain ready for a wide range of possibilities, not one scenario, many: natural disasters, regional instability, strategic competition, humanitarian crises, unexpected emergencies. The future rarely follows a script, and successful organizations prepare accordingly. As the next decade approaches, the pace of technological change shows no signs of slowing. Autonomous systems will become more capable, missile technology will continue evolving, space assets will grow increasingly important, artificial intelligence will influence more decisions, cyber operations will become even more integrated into military planning. The Navy of tomorrow may look dramatically different from the Navy of today, but its mission will remain familiar: protect national interests, maintain freedom of navigation, support allies, deter aggression, and provide leaders with options during moments of uncertainty. Whether the current preparations ultimately prove precautionary or prophetic remains unknown. No one can predict the future with certainty, but military organizations do not prepare for what is certain. They prepare for what is possible. And judging by the investments, deployments, exercises, and modernization efforts now underway, it is clear that decision makers are looking far beyond today's headlines. They are looking toward challenges that may not fully emerge for years, challenges still forming beyond the horizon, because history has a habit of surprising those who assume tomorrow will resemble today. The nations that adapt fastest often gain the greatest advantages. The organizations that prepare earliest often navigate crises most effectively, and in the vast oceans that connect the world, preparation is already underway, quietly, deliberately, relentlessly. The ships may be far from shore, the operations may attract little attention, the headlines may focus elsewhere, but beneath the surface of global events, a larger strategic story continues to unfold. A story of readiness, a story of transformation, a story of a navy preparing not necessarily for the next crisis everyone expects, but for the one nobody sees coming. And if current trends are any indication, the coming years may reveal that today's quiet preparations were never about one specific event at all. They were about ensuring that whatever emerges over the horizon, the United States Navy is already there, waiting for it.